So, I seen a few days ago that they planned on crashing this, was it 21-year-old satellite or whatever they have out in outer space that's been monitoring NASA, monitoring for NASA the planet of Saturn. They plan on crashing it into it because they claim that they can't bring it back to Earth. That whatever it might be infected with crap that was from out there. I can't find the video right now, but I just want to put the short one up real quick because I can't help this. Saturn stuff always takes me back to Star Trek. And I'll show you why. Stuff like that takes me back there. Let's see here. I wanted to find the video where I actually said that, but I don't think I will. Okay, so like they talk about Saturn and Saturn it being the cube and being the square and white. We still recognize Saturn, within our everyday life because like all the communities we live in, don't they have Times Squares and squares and stuff like named after it, within the places the confines of where you live. The whole thing with the whole eclipse that just went over or whatever, and they talked about sending up these rockets that had, or balloons that had bacterials in them because they wanted to see what bacteria can live in outer space when it comes back to Earth, as a project for NASA. These schools, middle schools, high schools, and them were doing it, even elementary schools. You think about it, send these bacteria to outer space. How many movies have we seen where bacteria's up there and they come down as monsters, right? So it's stuff that comes to mind. But when you read the New Testament and it starts talking about the new heaven and stuff like that, right? Think about this. It's talking about the new heaven that's supposed to float over Jerusalem. It's in the cube. The dimensions of it that they give you is in the shape of a cube. See that? The Borg. This is where these things, these monsters that would go, they would go through wormholes and travel through dimensions to other galaxies, find the aliens or the people in that galaxy, whatever. They would just eliminate the whole entire race, but keep a few alive and fuse them into themselves. So if the species to live on, it's through them. But this is why I just get this whole thing about the New Testament. It just doesn't sit well with me when I think about that kind of stuff now, Their whole thing at one point is they're going to try to attack Earth, and it's up to the Confederation to fight them and to keep them from doing it. So it's just something to think about, with them crashing a satellite into it. The surface is not supposed to be solid; it's supposed to be a gassy surface. So you wonder if it's them crashing it into it is giving them technology or something to that effect. If there's anything even on there, it's just weird that you would crash it and not bring something back like that, to me. This is the thing I was really wanting to start off with, was I was reading what makes the color brown, because it was just a conversation I've had with a few people that it seems like even if I don't know, it seems like we've been mixed, and I was just wondering, about color patterns, because you'll see the yellow people on the walls of Egypt, but you'll see people that are jet black, and then you'll see people that are brown, and I was just reading about this, and I don't know, maybe you do because it's simple stuff, but I forgot all about this, but the mixing of red, blue, and yellow can make a brown. Blue I thought was interesting because, a lot of times when you're looking at that Hindu stuff, a lot of those people are blue, right? They're gods and stuff like that. They're blue, but yet their people that follow them are brown. So they could get, I just thought it was interesting that it could have easily, been able to hide their blue, ancestors by mixing together. And then you just wonder what color were they before that? Were they yellow? Would they been yellow like the Chinese? What David says, I'm ruddy. And Lex showed us where if you look up ruddy cows, it comes out red, comes out brown looking. And then how many of us have Native American ancestors that were high yellow, So I was just thought that was interesting, just reading about, about how does the brown come together, you know. And then I had seen